Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate your patience as we get through the technology part. My name is Deb Peterman, and I'm with the Center for Disability Empowerment. Tonight's session, we've all been really looking forward to doing this, is empowering Black and Brown mothers, guardians of children with disabilities, strengthening advocacy and communication using the Charting the Life course tool. I am employed by the Center for Disability Empowerment as a transition coordinator and community connector. I'm also a sibling and a parent with lived experience and a Charting the Life course ambassador. The Center for Disability Empowerment is a 501c3 non-residential center for independent living, or otherwise known as a CIL. This is driven by the choice and direction of people with disabilities. Our mission at CDE is to provide supports and resources for people with disabilities in order for them to be participants and contributors in their communities as they live, learn, worship, work, and play alongside people who do not have disabilities. So tonight, our presenter is Brandy Muhammad, and she is with the Ohio Coalition for the Education of Children with Disabilities, or otherwise known as OCECD, as an information specialist / trainer representing the Northwest Ohio, and she is also a Charting the Life course ambassador. Brandy empowers families through special education, navigating at the Coalition, formerly a parent mentor for Columbus City Schools. She bridges schools and families, focusing on IEPs, 504 plans, and parental rights. As a mother of 3, which she will share, including a son with dyslexia and a daughter with learning challenges. She blends lived experience with professional expertise. She is a Charting the Life course ambassador as well, and a contract with the Family Resource Network of Ohio, otherwise known as FRNO.org. She equips parents with tools to navigate and educate educational systems confidently. So Brandy, I'm going to pass this on to you. And there we go.
All right. Thanks, Deb, so much. So I just want to once again just share a little bit about myself. I'm once again Brandy Muhammad. I'm a mom. That's my first thing. I'm a mom of 3 amazing angels. That's what I call them. There's a picture of them right there. We have a 30-year-old daughter. She's married. We also have a 23-year-old son. And our last but not least is our 19-year-old daughter. The reason why I got into special education, helping families advocate and go through that journey and navigation, was because of our son. He was in 2nd grade and he was in special education. And then by the time he got to 10th grade, I learned about the IEE process, which is the process where you go through and you have an IEP, and then, maybe you disagree with it or whatever, you have outside source come in and test your child. In 10th grade, he was diagnosed with dyslexia. How many years had he gone through life in school without even knowing that he had dyslexia? So as parents, me and my late husband were very, upset, just, kind of frustrated about the whole journey. So I really wanted to make sure that I never, anytime I connected with parents, I really wanted to make sure that they had a voice, and also for them to really see that there's opportunities for you to be part of the team. Just because you're on one side of the table doesn't mean that you're not part of the team. Everybody is part of the team. And so that's why I do what I do. I really hope that as we do the series, that will encourage more families, moms in particular, and dads, of course, too, to jump out there and be the advocate, the best advocate that they can be. And so we have tonight some amazing friends of mine. We have Renita. We also have Monica and Radisha. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna tear it up. Radisha. No, tell me again. She told me 100 times.
It's okay. It's Radisha.
Radisha. Yes. So they are all professionals. They're also moms. They'll be able to share. And so you may say, like, why are we here? What are we doing? Why is it about Black and Brown moms? Because it's our time. It's our chance and our opportunity to share and be spotlighted and learn more about Charting the Life course, right? And so when I say Charting the Life course, it's a framework. There's lots of tools, lots of information. But this one we're going to talk about today is in reference to the one-pager. But before we begin, and Deb, we're on slide 5. I don't see the slides on my
Okay, let me just give me 1 second. I'm not sure what happened. Not a stop share, but you know, technology.
Yeah, we love it.
Gotta love it, yeah. I apologize for that.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me when you see my angels.
Who have joined us as well. And thanks if you're able to throw your face on the screen so we can see you. It's great. If not, it's okay too. We're glad that you're here. Okay, we're on slide 5.
There it is.
All right, thanks, Deb. So
Mhm.
it just says take a breath, right? It's an opportunity for us to breathe. Remember that we're all in a safe place, and it's great to see everybody. You're welcome here. I had to remind myself to break, right? I had to remind myself, just take a breather, Brandy. It's going to be fine. We're all friends. If we're not, we're going to be friends by the end of this evening. So let's continue. The purpose and the focus of this is tonight we're going to talk about empowering. So each of the ladies have children, adults that they've become the best advocate for their adult or young person. And so we're going to have more conversations about empowering and being the best advocate that you can be for yourself and for your child. We're also going to be talking about strengthening your advocacy, right, and communication and self-efficiency through charting the life course through the tools. And last but not least, we're going to learn to frame your child, of course, your own child's strengths, culturally affirming lenses versus, sometimes people say, oh, well, my child, has dyslexia, or my child has ADHD, or my child has autism. We're really not focusing on their deficiency or whatever their challenges. We're looking at the beautiful opportunities that they have, their strengths that are available. We're also looking at culturally, because as Black women and brown women, our cultures are different than others, right? And so we'll have a little bit more conversation about that and what that looks like. This tool that you'll see is the one-page person-centered description. And when I share about the tools, just remember there's a lot of tools that Charting a Life Course has, right? But we don't use all the tools all the time. It's not another piece of paper. This tool that we're using tonight, as you can see on the screen, it's really about introducing somebody to a new experience. It's also new experiences, new places, life transitions. For example, I know Renita's daughter is about to graduate and go to college. She might want to do a one-pager. She already presented a one-pager. She'll be presenting tonight. But with that one-pager, she can take it onto her college, university. She can share with her roommate. She's going to be living in a dorm. So she can have a one-pager, then her roommate can have a one-pager, and they can come together and be like, hey, what do I like and admire about you? What do you like and admire about yourself? Renita will have a chance to share more about her daughter and what that looks like. So then we have Monica. Monica has a younger son, and she'll share her story about her son. And maybe she might be able to use it for a new doctor's appointment, right? And Rhodesia, she has an older daughter and an older son. And so maybe they might be going to new jobs, or maybe the dentist, or maybe a new employer, things of that nature. That's why we do a one-pager. Each tool that we use in Charting a Life Course is always for a reason. And just remembering that this document just isn't a form, it's a declaration of your child's humanity. And it's your family's right to thrive. So my thing is, let's weaponize it together. Once again, each mom will be able to share about the one pager, about their child, why they're doing it, why they've chosen to use it, besides me asking them to participate. And let me just say this last part on the one pager. As you can see, the first section is all about likes and admires. This section is really celebrating the child's cultural genius and the strengths that they've been able to inherit through their family's legacy. Once again, it's not about listing it's not about listing different, points, but it's about actually naming the child and what people like and admire about them. The second point that we'll be talking about is what's important to the child or the young person, right? And so remembering it's where we can honor the child's desires and not just like what the system can offer. We're really working on rooting the needs and the cultural pride and intergenerational dreams. Last but not least, how to best support me. That's really it's not about fixing your child, but it's about barriers and bringing cultural rooted support systems together. It's really finding out exactly what the child needs, what the child likes, what can we do to help support that child best? So once again, we're going to go ahead and get started with our three amazing panelists. I thank you guys. I thank you ladies for participating. I'll just introduce Radisha, and she is a dedicated mom of a grown son and a daughter who's in high school, and she brings both professional and personal experience in the world of education, having navigated the educational landscape both as a parent and as an educational professional. She understands the vital role of student family school partnership in shaping a child's success. She's passionate about empowering families. She believes that she's well equipped. Let me repeat that. She believes that well equipped parents and guardians are essential to ensuring children have access to quality education and growing into engaged, productive members of their community. I welcome my first guest. Please go ahead and jump on in, Shia.
Great. Thank you so much, Brandy. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, the difference between the two children, because there is a 14-year gap between my son, who is approaching 30, and then I have a daughter who is a sophomore in high school. And so my initial education experience wasn't in a professional sense, it was a parent. And I watched my son really kind of struggle through high school and go the route of what he thought every other student should do, go away to school. And he had really challenges with that, not necessarily wanting to be there and thinking that was the right fit. So by the time I had my daughter, I really wanted to engage into what does it mean to make her environment the most successful for her. So I think the charting, the life course, the one pager is a really good opportunity for us. My daughter, as I said, is a sophomore in high school. So she was one of those students transitioning from middle school to from elementary school, I'm sorry, to middle school during the pandemic, which I don't know how many of you experienced that, the transition and how challenging it was educating them at home and also changing their complete social landscape. So for her going to middle school was really, really challenging. And so we supported it and we kind of saw some things happening. So then we get to high school and it was kind of like the rubber hit the road. Like you got to do something, like this is not working. Others aren't seeming to notice what I noticed, because what we know is that we are probably we are definitely not probably, we are the most equipped to identify changes in our children and to realize when they're having challenges and, just questioning how to support them. So I'm introducing to you Zuri, like I said, who is a 10th grader. And we did the Charting the Life course one pager recently, which is a really good time. I wish I had have done it sooner. But doing it with her, it was interesting in that I think that sometimes our children can't necessarily see themselves as others see them. So even just asking that question, how do other people, see you, was really challenging to her. Like, she chose a couple of words, and so it created a real good dialogue for her to begin to kind of identify herself. And I think it's a powerful tool for our young people to, one, begin to develop that self-advocacy component, to really kind of come into their own space and know who they are and stand and present themselves on the skills and talents and gifts that they have. And so with Zuri just going through this, it was a really good opportunity to have that conversation. Like I said, she's a 10th grader. She's interested in going to the Career Center, which is a whole new set of teachers. It's an opportunity for her to be able to present herself. So the thing about her is that she really is a kind and sweet girl. What sometimes comes off as not being interested is her kind of filling out her environment. And so when she becomes comfortable, she can really engage with people, and she's quite protective. So the thing that I see about her is she stands her ground, which can come off as being stubborn, which means that for somebody talking to her, maybe the presentation is allowing her to have conversations first and getting an idea and then sharing their input. She is a really good listener. She will listen to really everything that you say, and she has a sense of humor. What's really important to her is being genuine and authentic. So we have gone through the process of where she has is weeding and kind of becoming and developing what is good friendship and what are good relationships. And I think that that's important both at this time and when she goes into possibly the career center and even beyond that, past high school, if she chooses to go to college or whatever her post-secondary goals look like. What's very important to Zori is that she really is very family oriented. So she's extremely close to myself and her brother. So those are her um, no bars. She's going to protect them. And she has a older cousin who is like a secondary mother. And those relationships are really special. So it's important to her to have time with us. It's important for her to have time with her cousins. And Zuri loves to sleep, but she has to be really well rested. So sending her into an environment where it may be something different or challenging and she's not rested is not a good idea. So those are things that for me as a parent, it's good to just have a reminder to be rested before an event, to know that you're going to go out and you're going to present and it's going to create a level of stress and anxiety for her. What tends to calm Zori is music. And so her at school, Zuri has a 504. So there are some things that are really outlined to be able to support her in school, like when things get too noisy and chaotic for her, to have some time away. So that's important for her to know when she has time away, how to get herself back on track. So listening to music is important um, to calming her down. And then what's also important to her with Zuri is education. And that has come in different facets. So education was important to her as a middle schooler, but the stress of not doing well kind of knocked her confidence down. So to be able to support that, to be able to support the education is to kind of slow things down for me and to understand that I need to celebrate and reward her when she's doing well. And so now she's kind of a little bit more back on track and has learned how to manage her level and her expectations in with education. And then I think one of the last areas of this one pager was challenging for Zuri to do because I was like, how do you ask somebody to help you? I mean, that's really what this area is saying. Like, in an ideal environment, what will make me successful? What are the things that I can surround myself with that will be helpful in me reaching the area or goal that I want to achieve? And so we spent a lot of time, like, kind of in this space. And I don't know that we really refined it. I tried to give her scenarios of going into a new classroom or going into a lab. What would be helpful for you? And so what Zuri expressed was that she likes to work alone, and working in groups kind of creates a level of anxiety. So even being able to share that with her teachers is that maybe it's the size of the groups. You know, sometimes we can't control the situation, but being able to ask that maybe the group be smaller, or um, giving students a level of choice in developing their groups. One of the things is that she prefers that things be in writing for her, like not giving her instructions verbally, but them being in writing. And I think I probably share a little bit of that as well. Like I would prefer to read something first and then have you kind of engage with me. She prefers, this is one of the items that's on her 504, is that she prefers to have paper copies instead of doing a lot of work on computers. And so she still does have to do that, but realizing that it's a better way for her to be able to organize her information and for her to be able to receive and keep track and monitor what she's doing has been truly helpful in this 10th grade year of kind of knowing when she's on track, when she has a missing assignment, because she has an actual tangible piece of paper instead of looking at items on a computer screen and trying to identify where she is in the process. And then when asking for help, she doesn't really like to repeat herself. And this has been a challenging thing for me in developing this, but having her actually be able to say from the very beginning of engaging with her teacher, specifically in classes, that, I really have a hard time coming to you and asking for help. And when I ask for help, I need you to be able to meet me at that need, because I may not, come back and ask again. So in order to be able to support me, is to take me at my word and be really serious about, when I ask you for this, to be able to provide that. So for me, the one pager is a great opportunity as we begin to wrap up this year and look at going into the next year with a whole new set of teachers and possibly a whole new split environment, for her to be able to introduce herself to her new teachers and school environment and other staff, and tell them a little bit about herself, and also be able to tell them what would be helpful in supporting her. I think one of the things that's really Zuri's strength is that while there's a sweetness and a gentleness about her, there's also a level of maturity. Like, she's kind of really clear on what she likes and what she doesn't like. Where that becomes a challenge is that I also want her to be open to new experiences and to not close herself off. So that's a constant conversation, and realizing that a strength and kind of knowing who you are also means that you need to be open to new opportunities. And the experience of doing this, I actually had done this with my son as well, and trying to get him to navigate between changes in careers, is that charting the life course is a good way to really hone in on what it is that you want, and to kind of move out all of the other distractions, to get to a really good place where you're identifying that this is who I am, this is what I have, this is the area where I may be challenged with, and here's how you can support me. I think that that's a great tool for me, even as an adult in a working environment where I have to be really collaborative, is to be able to tell people what works best for me, to be able to actually give my best and present myself in a full and authentic way. Um, and I think in doing this, I will repeat it again. I think it's a item to come back to.
For sure.
In doing this with my young lady, like I said, it was really challenging. And I don't know if any of my other friends that are on here have daughters and know know that reaction with how mothers and daughters relate. The tensions sometimes get high because we don't express ourselves in the way that we want to. But it gave me a chance to, one, work on the way that I'm communicating with her, and to also get her to see the importance of being able to communicate, and that communication isn't just what you say, it's really about the person receiving it and being able to honor what you ask for.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Radisha. I really appreciate it. If we have time, I'll ask you a few questions at the end, but I'm going to jump on over to Renita.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much again. So Renita is a single mom of 2 children. She has an 18-year-old daughter and also a 26-year-old son. Renita has an unwavering passion for learning, which she believes is the cornerstone of her personal growth and empowerment. Her enthusiasm for education extends beyond her own pursuits, and she's deeply committed to engaging the educational opportunities within her community. Renita also understands that education is a powerful tool for change, and she strives to create an environment where everyone has access to the resources that need to succeed. Renita not only promotes learning, but she also cultivates a collaboration. Also collaborates. Let me say that again. Renita not only promotes learning, but also cultivates a culture of collaboration and resilience, making a lasting impression for those around her. Renita?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. And so as I was thinking about what to say about and share my experience with this whole process of learning that your child has a disability. I'm just going to start there. So my child, I believe, was identified of having a learning disability. I believe it was in the third grade. And the third grade, as you know, is a very important year when it comes to education, because at that time, that's when the third grade reading guarantee was put into place. And so if you remember, if your third grader didn't pass that test, they will be held back. Um, so during this time, and she was at that time was in a private Catholic school, and was identified as, like I said, having a learning disability. And they felt that they could not meet her needs, and suggested that I look for other educational opportunities because they wouldn't be able to service an IEP. So regarding the third grade test, fortunately for her, she passed the test, which I think was a surprise to all, because one of her disabilities at that time was reading and comprehension. And so I just want to say, if you don't remember anything else that I say, is to always be an advocate for your child. And just because the school says one thing, the principal says one thing, is don't be afraid to be an advocate and make schools, question schools, the teachers, the staff, make sure that they follow their IEPs. As we transitioned out of private school and went to Columbus Public Schools, from then on, I have had to have meetings outside of IEP meetings every year with teachers, principals, and staff regarding her IEP, and making sure that they follow it and provide the accommodations that she should be getting. And so again, that's where I say that being an advocate for your child is extremely important, and not assuming that the schools are following the IEP and or teachers. And she's gone to middle school, several different high schools, and again, every school year, I've had to have meetings and conferences regarding her IEP and her accommodations, and making sure they are being followed to the T. And so again, just remember, always be an advocate and don't assume, and most schools you have, the one little meeting, and, everybody's around the table, and, they're asking questions about your child, and they're talking about how their learning is going, and just make sure you come prepared with your own questions to the staff and teachers and to the principal, just to make sure that, again, they're following the accommodations and they're doing what's best for your child. And so now I'll talk a little bit about my daughter. Okay, so Radisha, I can relate to you. So I'm asking my daughter, I'm like, I know what I admire about you, but you don't know what other people think. And she also had difficulty expressing what other people admired about her. And so what we came up with is that she's funny, caring, loyal, trustworthy, and supportive. And those are all characteristics that I would say teachers and other adults in her life have expressed about her. I would also say that my daughter has learned to adapt with her disability. So most people who meet her would never know that she has a disability, and her disability is in processing. And so sometimes she doesn't understand, but you would never know that she doesn't understand, which may not necessarily be a good thing, just depending upon what type of environment she is. But she's learned to adapt, and you just would never know. What's important to her? Her family, me and her brother, basketball, and her friends. So she's athletic. She's been playing basketball since she's been in fourth grade. And where I was just introduced to this LifeCourse one-page form. And to be honest, I think as she transitions into college, and she does have offers to play basketball, I think this form will be useful in sharing that with coaches, because coaches, that's a different skill set than it is, a teacher who's used to 504 plans or IEPs. Coaches just want to say, do this, do that, do this, do that. And they don't always, show an example or show, this is how to do the move. Sometimes they do, but not all the time. So for someone who has a processing issue, they need to be the one to do it. So they hear you, right? And the coach may do the move, and for her, she still may not get it. Like she needs to do the move, or show her exactly where to be on the court, or that type of thing. And so this is where I see the form being very instrumental in introducing her to a new coach. So they'll understand, like, okay, when explaining a new play or a new move, or, then I need to be a little, explain myself a little bit more, other than just to tell my team to do something or tell her to do something and expect that's what the outcome will be. And how to best support Kennedy? Just allowing her time to process what was said, so she can, like, in her head say, okay, is this something that I understand, or do I need more clarification? Definitely hands-on activities. She needs to be the person to, do whatever the activity is after it is explained. Demonstrating, then allowing her to demonstrate is also important. I also found out early on, being organized is an issue for her. It's, in school, where's your homework? Where are the papers? Why are the papers lost? Why can't you get dressed in the morning? Why can't you get up on time? So year after year, I'm like, why are we still having, these problems? So structure and a schedule is very important to her. To be successful. We still struggle with that now as a senior in high school, but it's better, it's like, okay, you gotta have the alarm clock. You're gonna be going to college. I can't wake you up every morning. We can't be late to school every day. We've had attendance issues because she's not organized, or she's not planning her day, or planning what she's going to wear, or planning how she's going to do her hair. So those things that we definitely had to learn along the way. And of course, as Radisha said, you pick and choose your battles when it comes to teenage girls. Demonstrating instructions step by step. She's got to have from point A to point Z to explain in order for her to be successful at getting whatever it is that you're trying to say, and just making her feel comfortable, and not being afraid to ask questions, especially when she doesn't understand. For her, she doesn't like people to know that she doesn't understand, especially in school. Now she's in a high school where the special ed teacher, or the tutor, or the IEP, or the specialist is inclusive. So they're in the classroom. So she knows there's other students in the classroom with her that also have disabilities. So it's a little bit more comfortable situation. So she doesn't feel like I'm the only one who doesn't get it. But just, making sure that it's okay to ask. It's okay, for them to pull you aside, explain it, to make sure that you understand what's going on in the classroom. And so again, just want to reiterate, for me with this form, I think that is very useful. I wish that I would have had the opportunity to use this earlier on with her, with introductions to coaches and teachers and people who, support her. But how I plan to use it again is just, how when she transitions into college, and especially with new coaching staff. And Again, if you don't remember anything I said, just remember to please be an advocate for your child and don't assume that the school is always going to do what's right. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Renita. Definitely appreciate it. Yes, reminding everybody, advocate for your child, and then eventually they can advocate for themselves. Now we're going to jump on over to Monica McLean. She serves as an education parent liaison for Toledo Public Schools. Monica has earned her BA and also her master's degree in college. She is passionate about her work with families and with families of children with disabilities. She was appointed by Governor Mike DeWine to serve on the board for the Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council. She also serves on the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce Advisory Panel. And last but not, Advisory Panel for Exceptional Children as well. Monica is proud to have a special need, or excuse me, I'm getting really excited. Let me breathe again. Hold on. Monica is proud, special needs mom. She considers herself to be an information hoarder. That's a new lingo, because she's always looking for new things to help others. I introduce you to Monica. Please go ahead and share, Monica.
Hi, everyone. Pardon my voice. I'm chasing some hoarseness, but I'm going to do my best. So I am a mother too. My son, his name is Gavin. Gavin is multiply disabled. So my first IEP was in preschool. Some people get identified later on. Excuse me. But Gavin and I have been doing this since preschool. He is a junior in high school. He is a very loving, fun, and big brother to two little brothers. He charting the life course is something that I use pretty routinely with my families. And so using this for this platform was pretty interesting for me, simply because my son speaks in 3 to 5 word short sentences. So I have to do a lot of communicating for him. My husband has to do a lot of communicating for him. So a document like this is helpful because it can follow him wherever he's going, whether that's after high school or in a day hat program or even to a new teacher. So last school year, he got a new teacher in class, and I shared a one-page description with her. I thought that that would be a good idea for her to get a chance to get to know him because he speaks in 3 to 5 short word sentences. He does have a AAC device, which we use also. So what people admire and love about Gavin, he's has a great sense of humor. He loves to laugh.
Yeah.
He enjoys giving high fives. So during the pandemic, we had to switch him to a fist bump. So we had to teach him, hey, people don't want to high five you, Gavin. You got to give him a fist bump. He loves to dress and look nice. That's important to him. He enjoys knowing where his family is. So he'll always ask, where's my brother? Where's mom? Where's my dad? And so in order for him to feel safe, it's important for him to know where his family members are at all times. He loves music. I heard some of the other moms saying that too. So if he can have his iPad, if he can have Sister Act, Annie, Sound of Music, those are things that are important to him to have, you know, music that he likes. He enjoys going to church. He likes to dress up. So when we come home from church, it's hard to get his church clothes off because he likes to look good. So, but that's important to him. So if he were never with my husband or I wouldn't want someone else to know, hey, this is important to Gavin. And so that makes him happy. He loves recalling past experiences. His birthday was in February. Every morning since February, Mom, my birthday, Mom, birthday cake. And so we say, yeah, Gavin, you got a birthday. You got a birthday cake. So anything that helps him remember or recall past experiences he enjoys, how to best support him. He's a man, a grown man, and so he likes to be in control. So if he has the strength to lock his wheelchair, don't you touch his wheelchair. He wants to lock it. He wants to be in control. And so because we provide full care for him, we do allow him to have some autonomy to decide, you know, what's working for me right now, what's not. And so how to best support him looks a little different depending on the day. Um, we try to avoid sensory overload. So chaotic situations, Lots of flashing lights or different things like that aren't good for him. So we try to find calm in everywhere that we go with our family or plan ahead. He likes to wear a baseball cap. I told you he likes to look good. So if he has on his favorite hat, I don't care where the building is, he's not taking it off. And so we give him that autonomy.
Mhm.
He also he'll ignore you if he just met you. So if you say, "Hi, Gavin, nice to meet you," he'll kind of like, turn his head, and I have to tell people he's not being rude. He's just figuring you out. So, because he is such a unique individual, a document like Charting the Life Course is very helpful because it helps a new person or a new environment understand Gavin beyond his IEP, beyond his service plan. It kind of gives you a little foray into how we know Gavin and how you can support Gavin. So thank you. And I thank you for having patience with my voice. I need accommodation tonight. So thank you.
Thanks, Monica. Definitely appreciate you. Well, our time's not up. We still have a few more minutes, but I do want to say thank you once again to each and every panelist. Thank you for the time. Thanks for, just digging in there. Some are new to Charting the Life Course. Others have been doing it for a while, but everybody had different stories. So I really appreciate that. We're going to jump over to our action steps. And I put it in yellow because it's like, boom, right in your face, right? Like, let's get it. What action steps can we take from this conversation that we had today? First, as a mom, create your own one-page person-centered description. And the reason why you want to do it is because you want to have your own information there as well. Remember, with Charting the Life Course, it's not just for those families that have children with disabilities or, the person or an adult having a disability. It can be for those who don't have disabilities. As you saw with the one pager, it doesn't say, hey, if you got a disability, it's for you. It's for anybody, any age, and it changes over time. Like Monica made a statement, she's done one a year ago. She updated hers, just recently to share about Gavin. Same thing with Renita and how Renita's journey is going for her daughter going to college soon and what that looks like. She might have a one pager now, but it might look a little different when she gets to college. And similar situation with Rhodesia and how her daughter is going to be in 11th grade and she'll be going to the career center. So one pagers, they're not stagnant. It's not like, oh, this is the one pager for the rest of their lives. One pagers can be created all the time for different spaces, as I showed before, different environments, different opportunities as well. Sharing it with your elders in your community, because it once again helps us to see and them for them to see also resilience reflected in your child's journey. Last but not least, and sharing it with family members and friends. Remembering this one pager everybody can do it. You can download it. Deb will, after this, she'll send you out the PowerPoint presentation, and then there'll also be a link in there so you can print off your own one pager. There's a friend of mine, well, I just met her, but I'll call her my friend. She's going to be presenting in a couple of months, and she'll be sharing about her one pager and how she used it during the holiday season. Her son, I don't want to give her whole story, but every year they were going to Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. At one point, the family was like, oh no, he can't come. She created a one pager, and now everybody understands more about him. So then when he comes to those fellowships and those events, they are already aware of, hey, what's really important to him? How can you best support him? And why do people like and admire the individual? I was able to do a one pager with the coalition. Each month we have two of our staff members do a one pager. And so the first part is like what people like and admire. And so for us, we don't put our own answers, but others get to pour into us, right? They get to share what they like and admire about us, how we've helped, or maybe a smile, or we're helping families and engaging them. That is filling in our cups, right? I love for my cup to be filled. I appreciate it when people got to share about how super dope and amazing I am, right? And you can do the same thing for yourself. You can do it for family and friends. I even consider doing it just hanging out with friends. Let's talk about each other. What do I like? What do we like and admire about each person? What's important to you? And remember, let me just say this last part with likes and admires. It's like really I am statements. So for example, for me, I could say I am a mom, right? I'm a solo mom. I am a widow. I am empowering. I am a baker. I am da 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 da. Life, we can go on and on and on, right? I mean, I could talk about myself forever, but it's not about me today. Just joking. Same thing with what's important. Just really honing in on really what's important to you or to the person that you're here to support. So instead of just saying, oh, my family's important, who's in your family? For me, my young adults and adult children are part of my family. I also have chosen family, friends, the ladies that are here on the panel today, also Deb and others that are here as well. Those are my chosen family. So just really try and get those details. And last but not least, how to best support me. I think one of the ladies shared, I think it might have been Renita, how you shared how processing, it takes some time for your child to process the information. For me, I'm processing the information the same, but then I need time to like figure it out. Sometimes for one of my children, like they process a little faster and they're like, boom, boom, boom. But for me, I'm like, hey, give me a second. Don't overstimulate my mind with all these things. Those are best ways to support me. So have any questions, please feel free to add those in the chat. We're going to jump over to some resources. And the first one, as you can see, and I don't think it's on there, but we will have it updated. It is a disability empowerment.net. And that is the Center for Disabilities. This is the host of the event. Thanks once again to Deb Peterman. We have her phone number listed as well. My name's there for OCECD. We have Carolyn Head. I don't think she's on today, but she is the information specialist for Franklin County. So if you ever need some help or resources, you can reach out to her. We have frnohio.org. And there's a video, Barb Safaris. She did a video. It's about an hour, and it breaks down the one pager, what that looks like and how you can do it for yourself, as we talked about, for those you support as well. OCECD website is there. I also have found Village of Wisdom. It's on Facebook. You can check them out. We have Autism and We. Are you okay? Krishana, yes. Autism and We is your group, right?
Yes, yes.
Do you have we have time. Please share more about autismandwe.org.
Okay, so Autism and We, I'm the co-director of Autism and We. It was founded by a group of moms. It actually started out of a research study at Children's Hospital, where we felt that the Black community, they weren't getting the information as their counterparts. And so we needed to do something about that. So we've been meeting for the past it's been about 7 years already. We host a lot of different events. We also partner with a lot of researchers to put different events in the community, but we also train. So we train first responders on how to interact with individuals with intellectual disabilities properly. And then we also created a curriculum, and we did a training to actually educate families on what to say when you need the first responders. I myself, I'm the mom of I'm a mom of 5, but I have twin boys that will be 20 on Friday, and they were diagnosed very, very, very early in life. And so it was very important to me because my oldest twin, Jojo, he is nonverbal, and he had behaviors at that time. I say at that time because they have really subsided in the past 2 years, but they were very volatile. And so we would often have to call 911, but I had an entire script of what to say, because I didn't need anyone coming in with guns blazing. So, we do a lot of trainings as well in the community. We have an autism prom that's coming up May 10th. From 15 to 25, invited at Crossroads Church in Mason. So yeah, thank you, Brandy, for giving me the opportunity. And I'll be the one back in a couple of months and talk about my journey with my son being uninvited to a Christmas celebration with family. But it turned out great after a while.
Awesome. Thank you. And excuse me, ladies, if you have any other resources, please feel free to add that into the chat as well. We're going to jump over, almost done. Listen, we're going to be done before 8 o'clock. We have some upcoming amazing series. There'll be the third Thursday of each month from 7 to 8 p.m. This will be from May until October. We'll be doing a monthly series. And then for November through January 2026, we'll be doing the series the second Thursday of the month. Once again, same time, Deb won't be facilitating this time. She'll be doing something else, but she'll be in the loop forever. We'll be working with Charting the Life course again. This will be under the Family Resource Network of Ohio. And as you can see, the flyer is on resilience, right? Resilient journeys. And the list is there. I'm not going to go through each one. Sometimes we'll have panel discussions, but each time we're always talking about Charting the Life course, one of the tools. We're also shared like in May, because as moms, right, we all need breaks. So we'll be talking to a caregiver or two about how do you take those intentional breaks and some of the tools that we can use with Charting the Life course. June, okay, I just said I'm not going through the whole thing, so I'm not. Just know it's going to be a powerhouse. You absolutely got to attend each one if you can. If you can't, make the ones that you can attend. I think Monica has a comment, and we're going to go bring it on in very soon. Yes, Monica.
So one of the things that I think is so important as we use different tools to help our children, to help other people with their children, it's important to know and remind yourself as a parent that there's nothing wrong with my child. I battle all the time. People always speak, in deficit language, I'm giving you this information, this tool to help you support who he is. There's nothing wrong with him. And so I think that it's important that as we use different tools and frameworks that we express to ourselves first and to other people that there's nothing wrong. We're helping you understand how to support them.
Exactly. Thank you for the reminder. Ladies, it has been an hour of power. I thank each and every one of you. I want to say once again, thanks to Deb with the Center for Disabilities Empowerment. Thanks. Deb was actually, she talked to the assistant director with the coalition and was like, hey, I want Brandy to do this empowerment series for Black and Brown moms. And Marbella, that's the assistant, was like, let's go for it. So I definitely want to say thank you 150 times. Thank you for just doing it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the goals of each parent are very similar. But what I wish my mother, being a sibling, I wish of a man with developmental disability, I wish my mom and dad had the Charting the Life course tools, because it helps you to think out, as you guys notice on the panel, it makes you really think. And sometimes it's hard. You start thinking things out, and just having that, we never take the time to write down this. Plus the fact that it's so positive. It's not like we already get an IEP what your kid can't do.
Right.
We as family members need to focus on what they can do. And then I always wonder, if a teacher has 30 students, let's say, and all of them have IEPs, can you imagine her writing all these IEPs to look different? I imagine there's a lot of maybe similarities rather than a really, here's John Jones, let's talk about John, and that kind of thing. So, our hope as a Charting Life ambassador is to empower people to be bold and advocate, and anyone can use it. So that's the cool thing, to start it. And I'm sure you're going to be going through some of these things, Brandy, as far as some of the other tools. I went ahead in the chat and sent some links, but I will send an email to each person on here with what you talked about, and your PowerPoint, and Brandy's contact information. I thank you for doing this, Brandy. It's very important.
Yeah, thank you so much, Deb. And Celia has a comment, but before she makes her comment, I just want to say, I was going to say it anyway, but I see she's on. Just really, Celia was one of the other champions, right, to help implement this program for us. She saw me. She's like, Brandy, hey, you're one of my many friends, right? Okay, no. Anyway, she just really saw the need for us as Black and Brown women to have our voice heard. And so she shares sometimes another Black mom says like, hey, if I'm in the room, cool. If I'm in the room and I see somebody who's presenting who looks like me, boom, I'm more likely to jump in or share or participate. For me, when I see us in the room and I see us on the flyers, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna always participate, but it's a different form of engagement, right? Because culturally, we have different cultures than Celia has, right? Different cultures than Deb has, right? My mom might have whooped me with her hand. Others' mamas might not have, but we can have these conversations around sisterhood empowerment, but also using Charting the Life course tools to help us gain, empower, and strengthen ourselves and also our families. Celia, jump on in.
I'm working from my phone. It's not working super well. So first and foremost, Brandy, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so super excited about it. I don't want to make this about me, but I want to ask the panelists or anybody else in the room to anybody that's tried the tools, anybody who hasn't tried the tools, anybody that heard something, if you're willing to share either in the chat or unmute about something you want to see us do next or pushing us forward. I just am super excited that Brandy has made a way for this, and I want to be the person that helps keep the energy going and make sure that stuff keeps happening. And so I just want to partner with her and have her partnering with you guys and take the lead in what we do next. So please keep your voices in the room with Brandy, because that's going to be the easiest way to grow this work and grow these conversations in a way that they can really make a difference. So I just wanted to cheer y'all on and thank the panelists, because it was really good. I was really loved listening to the stories and hearing how you're doing this and the impact that it's having for you and for those little aha moments. And I just was super pumped, and I'm excited to have more people in the space to share stories and have them, as Brandy said, see themselves in the room and know that this is an option to bring their voice into the room. So I'm just super excited, and congratulations, Brandy. This is fabulous. You are fabulous.
Thanks. So yeah, once again, we appreciate everybody. Last note, we got like 5 minutes, but we're not going to take these last 5 minutes. Does anybody have last minute comments? And before we jump off of here, that last slide, of course, you know, it's a free session, right? So we need everybody, all 12 of us. So please post in, just fill out that evaluation, get your phone, however you do it with the QR code. So you could just tell us. And if there's any additional, like Celia said, any additional things that you want to share, please put it in there as well. My email is available also.
I have one thing to say, if possible. I am new to this organization, but I'm just full. This was very informational.
Okay.
But one thing I want to recommend is for the next is a class, and it's not just for me, but it can be for anyone on here, to talk about guardianship. And what I mean by that is when our kids get older and they turn 18, they're legally considered as an adult. And I'm getting ready to go through this in the next 3 to 4 weeks with my child. But we need it, because you can tell my daughter, Brandy, come and go with me. As a parent and as an advocate for my child, I can't say nothing because she's legally grown. So me speaking out for others, I think there should be a class to discuss what we need to look for when our children come that age and what to expect when they become that age to have a guardianship, power of attorney or whatever. So I think that would be a good point to have for the next class or next session, just going forward, because some parents don't know that they do have to have guardianship over their child that has autism or a disability or whatever, because of the way our society is today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I put that down.
You're welcome.
As well, and we'll follow up around that guardianship and power of attorney for sure. Krishana, did you have a comment? Thank you.
Yes, actually. I just wanted to address the guardianship piece. Brandy, whenever you do it, I'll be happy to do that with you.
Awesome.
Actually teach and have a class on guardianship and supportive decision making, because like I said, my twins are 20. And so I've been through that piece. And unfortunately, when I had to go through it, my Joseph was being hospitalized for behavior, for intermittent explosive behavior. And they did everything, admitted him into the hospital. And then all of a sudden, the next day, I get a call and said, hey, come get him. And I'm like, what do you mean? We're no longer serving 18-year-olds. And so the social worker I was like, no, that is the only safe place he has. There are no adult facilities to support him. She said, well, do you have guardianship of him? I said, I'm in the process of getting it. Well, we'll just let him sign his own stuff out. Keep in mind, my son cannot sign his name. My son does not have the intellectual ability to do those things. He's great at so many things. Making his own decisions is not one. So I have twins at two opposite ends of the spectrum. His twin brother is actually a sophomore, about to be a junior at Miami, living on campus. So his delay is different. It's emotional, social emotional. So that is something to definitely think about. I do have guardianship of Joseph, and I do supportive decision making with James, because he can kind of navigate stuff, but he needs a little more support. So I would love to join you when you do that, Brandy, and have those conversations.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, ladies, I appreciate your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It's my first time doing this, so I have a little, couple ups and downs and in betweens, but thank you for your support. Panelists, I appreciate your 150%. Yeah, some of you are in Columbus, so I'll offer you breakfast. I can't offer you dinner. We'll make a date. Thanks, guests, as well. I appreciate you. Have a great day, okay?
Thank you,
See
Brandy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you
Brandy.
guys so much. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Hope you feel better.
Yes.
Thank you. Next time I'll
Yes,
be able to
Monica,
talk.
feel better.
Now you can rest your voice.
Yes.
Thanks.
Hey, Deb, I'm gonna keep you on for 1 second when you
Okay.
stop recording for me.
Good to see you, Yvonne.
Yay.
Yes, nice to see you too, Debs. Yes, I apologize for coming on late, but I was in another meeting.
Glad you.
It'll record it, and I'll be editing it, and I'll send you the link. Okay.
Oh, okay.
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 Have a good evening.
You as well. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
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 Oh, one question. How regularly do you have this meeting?
So we'll be doing the third Thursday of